What's up, everybody? Water. This is Alex with A.D.W. Pressure Washer back at you again with another quick video. I realized in the last video that I didn't honestly give y'all a rundown on basically my plumbing. And I think honestly that's the most important part. You gotta forgive me. It's a raw video. I'm going off the top of the dome with it. My birthday was yesterday, February 3rd. So I celebrated hearty, and I had friends and family over at my house, and it was fun. Everything went according to plan for the most part. I had a lot of people over here getting karaoke crazy and drinking with me and just having a good time. So I've always been about friends and family more than anything. So anybody who knows me can tell you that. But like I said, wanted to give a quick rundown on my plumbing only, because I feel like that was the most difficult part for me. It took me a while it took me a lot of videos. And like I said in the previous video, I paid homage, but it took me a lot of videos and time to figure out the plumbing. And some of it was just trial and error. When I would go out, I would do jobs. Hey, this worked or this didn't. And I was just like, let me change it when I get home, when I get the next chance, the opportunity, and then go from there. So that's what I kind of want to go over real quick. So bear in mind, I'm not a plumber. I'm not a specialist of any kind. All of this is DIY off of the videos and doing it myself and just kind of going from there. So obviously that's my pressure washer. It was the most difficult part to plumb up. So I just want to go over everything that goes into it and then going forward. So obviously to start, we need to have a supply hose. This is my supply hose. I think I told you on the last video, but this was never plumbed up to where the water came directly through the hoses, through the reel itself, and into the hose. Now I have it that way. So now all I have to do is come reel this off and then put it onto the house, the people's spigot, and then it'll start doing this thing. So supply hose, water goes into here, comes in through the reel, does this thing, it goes through. I'm gonna make this a quick video so y'all can see it and y'all hopefully can use it. Comes into the hose, into the reel. Reel goes out here. This leaks a little bit, but it's not a huge deal because it's before the pump, not after, and it doesn't really cause me no issue. Comes through. This is just how I have it plumbed up to make life easier. And it goes up into a filter. I've been thinking about double filtering this just to make sure that I'm doing my thing, but I don't know if it's gonna cause a supply issue. And it goes to my bulkhead up here. My bulkhead goes down to my Hudson flow valve, and it basically just dumps itself off into this tank. So that's how I get water to my tank. Now from the water from my tank to my pressure washer, different story. Obviously, I use a regular old gear-driven pressure washer, however you want to call it. So it leaves from my tank through the gravity feed system, and it goes to my gated Y. My gated Y goes into my intake to my pump, and my pump goes through the whole process of pressurizing to come back out this way. I just recently added on this, what is it called? Bypass. And I haven't got the opportunity to test it yet. I will have a job tomorrow where it will kind of come into use. Actually, it will, because it's a soft wash roof job. But if I get the chance, I'm going to test it out. So let's say that. So that's what we got here. But the whole idea is, now that I have this in place, I don't have to figure out how to I don't have to turn my pressure washer off at the on-off switch over there, you know, the red spot, to turn it off, come unplug my downstream injector, which is plugged into this whole setup now, and then turn my pressure washer back on. Now I can bypass that extra step and save me about a minute, maybe two, who knows, which isn't a lot long term. But when you out here doing these jobs and you want to make them quick and be as efficient as possible, you start adding all these extra tidbits on and everything. So I have this now so I could just kind of bypass my soap, my my soap coming into my downstream injector. Right now, this is open because it's in line with everything, right? So when I have it like this, I'm getting the maximum amount of pressure that I can from my bypass setup. Now, when I close this, it takes that water that's being pressurized and everything, diverts it to this line, which goes up and around, and that's where my surfactant and soap is being picked up at through the Venturi effect. So it just eliminates the extra step of having to turn off the pressure washer, undo my downstream injector, turn it back on. And if I did this smart and another portion, I would basically put it here next to my hose reel, which you can do. Anything after the pump is sufficient, according to my research. So I could technically put it here and still get the same results. I decided to put it right here because it was the easiest access for me. Didn't have to go crazy. So, but when I close this, it diverts that water through here, which does the Venturi effect, pulls from my downstream injector, which is basically my little drop stick, my drop tube. I use zip ties and left the little tail on it so it doesn't drop down below this pipe, which is only 1 inch. And it picks up. It worked for me earlier when I did it, and I'm assuming that it's gonna work for me again. So when I tested it, so that's what that is. Now that we got that out of the way, this is open once again. Pressure is supposed to be its maximum. I need to find a way to secure this a little bit better. Right now it's not bothering anything, so I'm not gonna bother it. But this comes down and around. Here, everything's quick connected in case I ever have any issues. I could take a piece off, bypass it however I want to do it, and kind of keep going from there. And that goes into my hose reel and my hose. It's a little dirty because I was testing it. It'll get clean eventually, but that's the pressure washing portion. And it's literally that easy. The issue that I was having in the past is that I was adding extra pieces on, or I didn't have enough, and I wasn't getting the proper amount of things done because I had extra steps to take. So we bypassing many of those steps with just this quick setup. So if I had to break it down real quick, water comes into my hose, goes through my line into my tank. My tank, excuse my finger, my tank supplies my pump, my engine. My engine comes out through this hose to my reel. It's just that simple. It is really 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. And I haven't had an issue with this setup yet. And like I said in the last video, the people were saying that, hey, you know, having this type of pump versus the belt driven pump is more optimal. So that's what we got. So that's that. Besides that, you really don't need too much else. You can literally put a splitter on this pressure washer itself and basically cut your pressure washer in half. I only got a 4.2 GPM pressure washer, and if I had an 8 GPM pressure washer, a splitter would be more beneficial because I'm only turning that 8 into a 4 GPM. Essentially, it's how I picked it up. Now, I don't have an 8 gallon per minute pressure washer. I plan on upgrading to that later on in the future when the money's right. But right now I have a 4 gallon a minute pressure washer. It does me well. I don't have too many issues. So on to the soft wash system. So I use pickup tubes to basically do my soft washing. So far, it's been really efficient for me. The one thing that I have learned about it is it can have leaks in it. Some of the leaks come from just the bleach itself, just kind of chewing away at at the uh, at the metal, any metal components that come on it. But the other leaks come from just connection in general. So like this, bleach is kind of leaking out of here. That fitting that's connected to the gun is a stainless steel, but this hose clamp itself is, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, you can see now that it rusts really bad. So eventually I have to change that out because it'll get so bad that it'll break and won't hold the amount of pressure that it needs, or to be seized on there and it won't come off. So that's one of the issues that I learned, and I can tell you for a fact that the hose that I have on here, the way that I have it connected, it leaks just a little bit, but enough to notice, because you'll see it dripping down on the ground, or when the trailer finally gets put in place, you'll see it dripping down on the ground. Matter of fact, look at that, a rust stain. From what? Leaking. And obviously this is metal. I can't do much about it because it's connected as tight and as securely as I can get it, but that's just how the cookie crumbled. So like I said, use the pickup tubes going down to my blend manifold, and my water comes into this one, my SH comes into this one, and that basically does it. It's supposed to be surfactant, but I don't have it hooked up like that. I do downstreaming, not downstreaming, but I do batch mixing, and that basically takes care of what I need done. So all I do is turn these on. Once I turn these on, I would say within a minute and 30, I'm basically fully primed. I have bleach from my tank and my water tank, my bleach tank, flowing to where it needs to go, which in this case, tube picks it up, comes down through my blend manifold, does this whole plumbing thing, goes into my pump, which is in here, right? It has arrows on it, so never forget that. Here, let's take a look. See the arrow on the top? So it has arrows on top. It comes out. I re-plumbed this a bit because I was having issues with my hose reel, but it comes out and around. My water bottle into my reel into my hose, and then my hose to my gun. So it once again, super simple. Super simple. The problem is going through the paces of setting it up, getting it right. Obviously, you need to go out and do some jobs because your setup might not end up like mine. You might not find an entire pressure washer system with the handle and the freaking frame and everything. You might not find a hose reel like this one that has a handle coming off the side, or this handle coming off this side, or this handle coming off this side. You might not find that. You might find something totally different. And if you're doing it on a budget like I did, it has to be built the best way that it fits on this trailer. So that's really it. And it's crazy because I told you through so much paces and everything like that to try and figure out, sorry, just trying to set this up, figure out how everything goes, to the extent that I broke a lot of stuff unnecessarily. But with that being said, I'm at the point now where I'm as optimal as I'm going to get on this trailer, with this setup and this equipment that I have, and it's going to work for me long term. But you got to plug away at it. You got to keep chewing at the necessary and unnecessary portions. I learned that it was not necessary to have a 275-gallon tote on my trailer in order for me to be able to go out and do these jobs. You don't need that much water. Truthfully, my 55-gallon is like the bare minimum. What you want at least is 100 gallons. So I have a 100-gallon tank. Don't hear yet. Mostly because it's been pieced together. I made some crazy Trying to figure things out, adjustments and things to this. I cut crazy size holes in it. This has duct tape on it because it's a small hole under it. I don't know who had it before me. I bought it secondhand, and that's what it was. I don't necessarily need that tank. I want that tank. Do that make sense? The need versus want. I want to have that bigger tank so I don't have any lapses and water to my pressure washer. But the thing about it is, it doesn't sit vertical, it sits horizontal. So it doesn't necessarily sit above my pump. And I'm doing this based on a gravity feed system. So I'm gonna have to make a lot of adjustments to be able to get that on here and to make it work for me. And I don't want to do that. 55 gallons works just fine on a residential house. Now the difference is that GPMs. If I got an 8 gallon per minute pump putting out crazy amount of water, then I obviously don't want to have a small tank like I have. You have to beef it up. You have to give it more water so that way it can do what it needs to do. Also, if you're gonna pull from a tank, just try to get you a dang on belt gear, whatever you want to call it, pressure washer. That way you can not have to worry about all the headaches in the beginning. So that's what I got for y'all. I don't want to hold you. We're almost 17 minutes in, and I tried to keep this at least 15 minutes. But if you, like I said before, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Maybe in my next video, I'll go over my sizes. I have a lot of 1-inch size things on here. My hoses are 3/8 and my fittings all 3/8. And I know some people do it where, here, I'll show you real quick. Let's just say this quick connect will be the male side coming out. So everything needs to get femaled. You know what I'm saying? You take the female sheath and you pull back on it and you connect it that way because the male will be coming out. I do all mine the way that it all started. And it all started with the female connecting into, or the male connecting into the female. It all started this way. So I haven't changed anything. Can this be changed? Absolutely it can. But I haven't changed this, and I don't plan on changing no time soon because truthfully it hasn't given me any issues. I don't know if there's a benefit versus not. I don't know what the pros and cons of it is. But as long as it hasn't given me it keeps bothering it and changing stuff unnecessarily. Some people just got preferences. My preference is to leave it as what it already is. So that's what I got for you. Like I said, I'll try to make another video in the future of all the different connections. Maybe the next video I actually get crazy and put some links and descriptions and stuff into it. That way you can go and find it. Because as we know, my trailer's called Frankenstein. And that it just because I put a lot of pieces together from Lord knows where. I just gathered them up and made it do what it do. Like this whip line that comes around here, as long as it is and as good as it is, came from Tractor Supply. This hose came from Harbor Freights. The pressure washer came from Harbor Freights. This downstream injector came from Amazon. These pieces and stuff to make up this came from Lowe's. Facebook Marketplace. The hose right here, Lowe's. So I'll try my best to get y'all a description of every note I've collected over the time, because like I told you before, I'm an impatient person. I like to do it because I want to learn how to do it as well. Jack of all trades, master of none. I live by that. Next to getting up in the morning and doing something productive. So just want to end it off with a couple seconds of my step back for you so you can see it. So that's what we got. That's my soft wash, pressure washing, supply, pressure washer, tank, SH. And we got our miscellaneous pieces on the back, which is basically the guns and everything. And that's what we got, man. That's what we got. Peace.